Hello! I wanted to provide another update about our dog Louie, who has mild to severe skin allergies. Welcome back. I did a video about our, at that time, 2-year-old. Actually, is he 3 now? So back in December of 2020, I did a video about us feeding our black lab, Louie, raw food. Actually, we have another dog as well who is going to be going on raw. Actually is on raw fully. Both of them have transitioned to raw. I should have noted in my previous video that I have a huge learning curve when it comes to feeding animals raw. And through my research, I have learned something new every single day. So it is so important to take this with a grain of salt and also do your own research, because always you are your own advocate and you are your pet's advocate. They can't talk, they can't communicate, so you have to for them, and you decide what is best for them, what kind of treatment. I should also note that transitioning your pets to raw can take a very extremely long time. That's one of them, one of our dogs whining. And so basically we started feeding both of our dogs raw in December 2020. And I think it actually took until like February of 2021 that we were actually fully transitioned to feeding raw. Basically what happened in between those times is we were already on the home cooked diet for them. So they were basically used to eating hamburger, carrots, and beans, and chicken, and, you know, all those things, but they were cooked. So basically what we were doing is slowly adding pieces of raw food to their diet. And I would monitor their bowel movements every day to see what is going on, and that's so important to do when you are doing any diet change. So for a period of time between December and February, there were some reoccurring diarrhea in both dogs, and that was always my notification or cue or whatever you want to call it to kind of like slow down on the transitioning with raw food. For a period of time, we actually cooked their food for them. So we would be slightly cooking like kidneys and livers and chicken and things like that, very slightly, and then introducing it to them. And for those of you who have ever cooked kidneys or liver, the smell is disgusting. So during this phase, I found some awesome YouTube channels that were very informative during this process, this entire process. I still go to them. And one of them is Primal Pack. She feeds her entire house on raw food, minus her, I think. So she has a ferret, a dog, a cat, and I believe that's it. And she also, I believe, works with vets. I don't believe she is a vet, but I do believe she works at a veterinarian hospital or of some sort. I could be wrong, but look her up. She's great. She's so informative. Her videos are awesome. She is still one of the video YouTube channels that I continuing to go back to kind of get my information, because every time she posts a video, there's always something new that I learned from it. It's Dr. Karen Becker. Karen Becker, you know, always, I love her videos. I love the way her approach on care. She's a vet herself, and she runs a veterinary clinic, and it's just awesome because she's literally saying, stop running to the vets. And she's a vet. And so I just find that to be like, she is the god of like, of being an advocate to animals, because, you know, a lot of veterinarians that I see around in my neighborhood or locally, not locally, because I've visited many not in my state, and they're all after money. And so I love her approach on things, and she tries to approach everything holistically, which aligns with my principles personally. So she's just great. So look her up too, Dr. Karen Becker. From February to April, we have seen a lot of progress with Louie, our black lab. So once again, he is our main focus in feeding raw. Our other dog is just kind of on the journey because, you know, if he can benefit out of it as well, then, you know, why not? So from February to April, we are still on immunotherapy, which is golden. So basically, before I show you this, I showed you guys these last time in my previous video, and basically, we got Louie these tests done. So this is called Glacier Peak Holistic. And so basically they took some blood from him and they ran it to test any environmental and any food allergies he has. Now for food allergies, I don't believe they did blood. I think they did hair. I think so. So this was a couple years ago, but this is a great starting point for anybody who has an animal that they are suspecting that has allergies. This, if I would have known about this, I would have probably gotten it way before. You know, but we didn't, and so it's okay, we're here. So this just pretty much, you know, allows you to know what your dog is actually allergic to, which all in red you can see that's exactly what allergies Louie has for food. And then for environmental, it's a little less, but it says environmental stressors and triggers. So all in red is everything that he's allergic to. So yeah, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to stay away from all of this stuff. So, but first is, if you're, like I stated, suspecting that your animal does have allergies, get some kind of allergy testing done. No matter if it's even, I think they do it even independently now. Like websites, you take some hair from your animal, put it in a Ziploc baggie, and you send it off. It might not be completely reliable or credible, but like at least there'll be some sort of indication that you do need to have further testing done. So there's all kinds of ways for testing allergies now. Immunotherapy, so we started off giving Louie a very small dose of these vials. So basically each vial contains the allergies that he is allergic to, environmental only. And every dose it gets higher in potency of the allergen. So the minimum of shots we would give to him would be like every other day on this green vial. And then we would be giving like less than 0.01. So it'd be just the tiniest amount. And then we would work all the way up to like 1.0 in a syringe. So it was pretty much the entire syringe. It was pretty difficult at first. But he kind of gets used to it and you get used to it. We do it at home now. We keep this in the refrigerator to keep it cool. And then basically you just keep going on throughout the vials, and we're on the red vial now. It's been about a year, almost a year since we've been doing the immunotherapy, and we have seen so much progress with that. It wasn't until we started really weaning him off of steroids did we start seeing skin infections and bacteria again. With the raw diet, everything was great. It still is for the most part. Like I've been stating, is that we've been seeing huge progress, but we are starting to see some skin issues. I am in the Midwest, so we are transitioning from winter to spring. So I don't know if, I'm sure that does have a role to play, but I try my best to, you know, keep a humidifier going at all times for him. He's treated like a king, I should say. We have an air purifier. I used to get the crazy expensive air filters until our furnace said no, but we still get somewhat of a good filter for him and change it more often, I should say. So yeah, I think with the skin issues, I'm sure that it changes with, you know, the seasons, but also I think a big factor in Louie' skin right now is weaning off of steroids. And so basically we have a little problem with his hind legs. I have been doing some research and have come to the conclusion, instead of just running to the vet and spending all of my money because they've gotten enough of him, I've been doing my own research and basically have narrowed it down to a bacteria infection because it's very pimple-like. It's all over his stomach. I shouldn't say all over, but he does have some on his stomach, and it's targeting his hind legs. So they're like pimples. So we're kind of dealing with that, and I'll show you guys some pictures right now. So as you can see in the pictures, there are some healing spots. You'll see some black towards the end of his hind leg, and then you'll see some inflammation on the top of it. On top of it, he is extremely uncomfortable. He's constantly licking throughout the night. We're barely, like last night, we barely got any sleep because he just licks and licks and licks, and he's moaning, and so it's super sad. Regardless, it's all sad. You know, we got him thinking that, you know, we were gonna be able to have like a great healthy puppy, and, you know, and quickly realized that, you know, that wasn't our case. So we're kind of just working with what we've got. So basically, I do want him off of steroids, so I am going to continue weaning him off. We are almost done. It has been a long ride with steroids, but I do want him off just because of the repercussions of being on steroids for long term, and he's been on them long term. So now I have to look out for underlying conditions, such as Cushing disease. And I've also learned that sometimes animals are receive like secondary skin infections or skin diseases due to allergies. I'm not sure if that's Louie's case or not because this is new, but basically what I've been doing to treat it is, first, I had just to rewind just a little bit. Basically when I started noticing there wasn't a problem, it kind of took over immediately, but he was very dry, like just dry everywhere, constantly itching, constantly having the, you know, the flakes and stuff like that. So at that time, I didn't really want to give him a bath because he was already dry, and everybody always says that giving too many baths will dry your pet out even more. You know, give your dog, if your dog's super itchy, give him this, give him that, give him this. So basically what it came down to is, I don't have it here, but I was giving him krill oil. And so he is allergic to fish, which krill is not fish, krill is shrimp. However, it does contain an omega-3, which fish do as well. So in my head, I don't know if this will sound if it will sound weird in yours, but in my head, I couldn't kind of like get over the fact that like I was giving him an omega-3 even though that he is allergic to it. So I did continue to do it. There were 120 capsules in this bottle that I got, and I fed him every day, and I went through the entire bottle with no relief. So I discontinued it. So then I started doing flaxseed oil. And I guess the flaxseed oil is also good for humans. Well, all of this is good for humans, but I tried to like take the holistic route first before going to harsh meds. Sometimes you just can't win, so you have to go to harsh meds. But basically I gave this, I think this is like right here. I started giving him that. It was probably like, I don't know, 3 weeks. Probably didn't wait long enough for it to fully take effect, but I started realizing that we have an issue. So I just discontinued everything and just continued to give him this probiotics, which we have been, which our vet sells for $80, and you can go on to Chewy and get this for $30. Just a little tip. So with that, I was giving him Benadryl, you know, every other day, maybe a little bit farther, and nothing was just touching it. So through more research, I found turmeric powder, and I was actually just making, where did it go? This paste. So, it does need to get mixed up a little bit, but I was actually just applying this to his skin directly with turmeric powder. And it did appear to work. It was bringing the inflammation down a little bit, but not, he's down there listening, not as quickly as I wanted it to. So I discontinued that as well. So brings me to iodine. And through researching, once again, through Dr. Becker's channel, she pretty much talks about baths and how they're underrated, and especially for a dog who has allergies. So basically what you're doing is you're taking your dog outside or even inside, because he does have mild to severe environmental, and a lot of it is inside of a house. And we are remodeling our home, which then causes more dust. So yeah, it's not a pretty environment in the house, as far as, you can't, underneath the naked eye, you know, like you can't physically see it, but he can feel it. So through looking through her videos and finding a video about skin infections, I believe, basically that's where I found out that I'm pretty sure he has a bacteria infection, a skin bacteria infection. Pretty sure the bacteria infection, diagnosed on my end. What she recommends is just give your dog a bath. Like, stop immediately taking your dog to the vet. Because basically what the vet's going to want to do, or unless you have a holistic vet, which are very rare, at least around in my area. I do have one, but one, they're rare and they're expensive. Well, any vet nowadays is expensive. So, what she stated is stop running to the vet, because basically what they're going to do is give your dog antibiotics. And so then you're starting all over again. So basically what it boils down to is allergies come from a bad gut. So you don't want to, if you don't have to, and I'm not saying that we definitely have, he's been on antibiotics so many times, but we try so hard not to put him on there because we don't want to ruin his gut. So basically this is a very soft treatment. I got it from Walgreens. It helps kill germs and prevent infection. So basically they use this before surgery, any cuts and wounds and stuff like that. And I'm giving him a bath 2 times a day right now. And I'm going to continue that, because even when and if it does look better, it's drying out, his wounds are drying out, so that's always a good sign. So basically when that is healed, I'm going to continue to give him baths, because just to give him a rinse, like I don't really need to wash him every time, but like just rinse off the pollen, rinse off the dander, rinse off the mites, like all of those things, like dust mites, things that you don't see with your eyes. Like you have no idea. You have a dog that's super sensitive to everything. So like just give him a bath first before taking him to a vet or her to a vet. So our raw food, which we have now fully transitioned to, we have been giving Louie turkey necks. So we give him a full turkey neck, and then turkey liver, turkey gizzards, duck liver, duck gizzards. Wait, do ducks have gizzards? I don't think so. I'm not sure about that, but there's all kinds of weird stuff that you start to find out. So basically we go to a local butcher shop, and even Walmart sells like gizzards, like chicken gizzards. I know they have them. You just need to like look around. And I always, like, when I started this journey feeding our animals raw, I always like wondered why we had to know like pounds. Like, why did you want to know how much per pound? Like, I just sat there and like, oh, I'm never gonna learn that. But you actually do need to learn it, because it could save you big time in the end. So basically from our local butcher shop, I call whenever I need them, and basically they place an order. So we get a huge box, a 30-pound box of turkey necks. Yeah, it's gross. And they come frozen. So you have to allow them to thaw out, and then you have to individually pack them. So it is a huge ordeal. Like, it's a thing, you know? So we give them, it's 30 pounds of the turkey neck, and they're $1.50 per pound. So that's a pretty good deal. And a lot of the things that we feed our dogs now are typically like left over on an animal. So they tend to be on the cheaper side, which is pretty cool. So for Louie, we give him the turkey necks, turkey livers. We give him raw beef, pork. We sometimes give him the pork foot. I think actually we tried it and I don't think he liked it, so we ended up not doing that. So that's like kind of like what you realize is like what can you do and what can you not. I do have a funny story. So we actually, I picked up pork brains one time, and yeah, no, I can't do that. It's no thank you. So I know the whole goal is to feeding raw is to mimic whole prey, and I know that you do not have to give animals that every time they eat, but the whole goal is to kind of mimic that. But I'm on like the spectrum of like just a free flowing, I'm gonna just figure out what is best for them and whatnot. And I know because nutrients are so important. Like if they eat fur, you know, they're getting nutrients from that as well. And that Primal Pack channel, she goes into so much detail. She's so informative. So I highly recommend watching her videos as well. But yeah, for Louie, he basically gets turkey neck, turkey liver, and beef. And we'll kind of rotate. So feeding raw, our experience has been pretty great. I don't really have much to complain about. So we're going to continue doing it and just hope for the best. So stay tuned, and I'll send out another video in the next few months. Thanks for watching.